What's up, guys? Captain Gaming here, and today I'm going to be talking about Death Stranding and my thoughts and feelings on what we've seen from the game and how I think that this game could appear at launch, and all my different ideas I have and theories and speculations for this game. And yeah, so off the top, I think that this game is going to be amazing. I think that this game is just going to be so weird and so unique. It's going to have a great story. It's going to have interesting characters and an interesting world. Although I could be completely wrong about that. It could be a glitched out mess for all we know when it releases. But personally, I don't think that is going to be the case. I do think that when it comes down to its launch, it may be a hit or miss. Whether people will enjoy it or hate it is possible, or maybe it's gonna be a bit of both, where there's gonna be half the people love it, half the people hate it, and it's gonna be that kind of thing. And then there's gonna be this huge conversation around the game. I think that what could happen is that it's gonna be a very divisive game. So I think there are going to be some people who accept it that it's going to be a lot of walking, and that uh it's going to be a game where you just explore around your environments, climb mountains, and do all of this. Or there's going to be a lot of people who are going to think that the game is going to be a lot of walking. It's going to be very boring. Maybe it'll have a great story, but I don't really want to play it because it has a slow pace to it, and that's completely possible too. I think that this game could go either route, where it's going to be this game where people are going to absolutely love it, they're going to be talking about it, or people are going to be just mixed on it. And I think it's going to land somewhere in between the two, possibly. I don't know yet. But for me personally, this game looks like it's a Game of the Year contender. Now, Resident Evil 2 released, and I think that that game is my personal Game of the Year so far, although this game definitely, I think, could beat that. This game just looks so weird, so unique, but it has a lot of that Kojima style to it, and he's got a great record. His Metal Gear Solid games, for instance, have been extremely well received. Now, Metal Gear Solid 5 and 4 weren't that accepted by the community. They didn't hate it. I think it was a lot more overwhelmingly positive, but still, for Kojima, it wasn't that huge on them. They didn't really enjoy it that much. I'm not a huge Metal Gear Solid fan myself, so I don't know for sure. I've only played bits and pieces of Metal Gear Solid 2, but that's it really. And I do think that that game was spectacular from what I've played of it. It just was so weird and so unique, and I really liked it. I really liked what Kojima does. His games kind of feel like art throughout, and I think that that is going to carry out in Death Stranding, or I could be completely wrong, and this could be like another Metal Gear Solid 5, or possibly worse, or possibly better. I don't know. But I do think that this game, just to me, looks really unique and really entertaining. And there's a lot of different things that I think go into that, like the story. From what we've seen, it seems like you have to go from east to west, connecting different people, or people who were disconnected from what they believed was that this world is going to die or whatever, and that it's just going down. And then a lot of people are trying to believe that there's no way of fixing it, while Sam, he has to kind of give them hope and kind of reconnect them all. And I think that what Kojima is doing here is that he's going for a story that's based on that idea, and I think that that could be a really interesting story to carry out. Although from what I've seen, I think that's just going to be a small portion of it, and I think from the gameplay, I really do think that this game really looks good. I think it looks really unique, and I think that it's going to be a lot of fun to play, or at least for me personally, because I really like that slow paced style, and I think that that'll really work out. And although I do think that this game, there is the possibility that it could be really bad. There always is with games, and with modern AAA games, that tends to be a common thing throughout. But for this game, it just seems very different, and I think that really I would support Kojima if he was just trying to do something different. And I do think that this game just has a really weird stylistic feel to it, and I really can't wait to play this game. Sam seems like he's a very interesting character, because from what I've heard, it seems like he has this thing where he's afraid of being touched and all that, and I think that there's a lot of really interesting things that can go on there. And I think that really Sam, he just seems like a more human character instead of this one character who's constantly just fighting and fighting and fighting. I think that Kojima is just trying to go for the opposite and do something really different and unique with the characters. And Mama seems like a very interesting character too, mainly because her character, she has this very tragic backstory. And then there's also other characters like Guillermo del Toro's character we don't know much about. Higgs we don't know much about either. Cliff we don't know much about either as well. Although he's being played by Mads Mikkelsen, which seems really awesome. I really like that they're adding him in there. And there's also going to be a few other uh, actors, famous actors, who are probably going to appear in this. And I do think that this game is going to have a lot of that. And I think that could turn off some people as well. For me personally, I'm fine with it. It seems like they're just going for something that's more like a movie where they're going to have a lot of famous actors in it. And it really, this game feels, and I've heard this go around a lot, that it feels like a very indie, but also very huge game as well, or a very indie AAA game. And I think that could be the case, because a lot of people are comparing this to like Journey or Red Dead Redemption 2, because those games have a lot of walking to them. This game I don't know about yet. We still don't know whether it is going to be at the end of the day just a walking simulator, or it's just going to be something very different that could also have a lot of walking elements to it, or maybe there's just like no walking at all, and what we've seen has just been kind of tricking us into believing that it isn't. So really, when it comes down to it, I think that this game could go a lot of different ways. It's very weird from what we've seen. I really like what we've seen though, and I do think that it seems very unique, very stylish, and yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that really gets me excited for this. Although, am I as excited for this as The Last of Us Part 2? No, not in any way, but I do think that this game does look very good, and I do think that it could be something really interesting. I think that Kojima here, he's trying to push the industry because he's also mentioned that no, this isn't going to be like another battle royale. And the online, apparently, you can play without PS Plus, from what I've heard, which seems really cool. I like that. And then there's also other people are talking about it, are saying that it's really good. Now, I don't know. There was one person who I think works at PlayStation who talked about it and said that the game itself was really interesting in that it was like a good Netflix series, is what I heard. And then another person talked about how throughout the entire time they just felt completely scared and how it really terrified them to just explore when they were exploring around. And at nighttime, it really terrified them as well. So really, that could play a huge part into here, and I think that would be really cool to see. And really, it just this game just seems very weird. Very, very, very weird. And a lot of really cool Easter eggs seem like they're going to be apparent in the game as well. Like there's I'm trying to remember. So there's an Easter egg for Death Stranding in Horizon Zero Dawn, and I think Horizon Zero Dawn is also gonna have some Easter eggs inside of this game because it seems like there's this huge bond between the two, or maybe it might be more than Easter eggs and there's actually some connection in the worlds, and that could also be a possibility, or that they're gonna tie all these different worlds together. I don't know yet, but it could be possible because Kojima and Guerrilla Games, or Kojima Productions and Guerrilla Games, they have this really huge bond between each other, which is very cool. I really like that they added that they have that together, and if you read onto the story, it's very fascinating. Very, very fascinating. That's one of the reasons why I'm really excited for Death Stranding, is kind of the story behind it after he left Konami. And I really, really like what happened in between there. I think that just sounds really cool. What happened there, because like Kojima, after he left Konami, he's looking around for places, and then and then Guerrilla Games gave him the engine inside this case, inside this wooden box, and really from then they've just had this like they've just been working together in a really exciting and cool way, and I do think that in that relationship is really interesting between the two, and I think that will definitely carry out for a long time with Kojima and them. And do I think Kojima could be picked up by Sony? I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna start working on exclusives like mainly or not. Insomniac Games recently got bought out, so it is possible, but I don't know for sure. It would be massive if they did, though. I think it would be absolutely massive, but maybe they're gonna wait and see to see how Death Stranding does, and then they'll say yes, we'll buy you or whatever, or not, and that could be a possibility as well. But really, from what I've heard, this game just seems really unique, very fascinating, and I do think that there are going to be a lot of different things and elements that are going to be really cool in here. The characters seem great. The weapon designs and variety in the gameplay seems really cool because it seems like there's a lot of traversal, and I think that that's going to be a really cool thing because we've seen different things like motorcycles and all of that inside the game, and like a little hoverboard type thing as well. A lot of stealth from like his other games, which we've seen as well, and I think that this game just seems very, very unique and very different. I think that what Kojima's doing here is going to be something very different and very strange and cool and fascinating, and I can't wait to see what happens. Now, could it be bad? Could it be good? Who knows yet? I'm excited for this game. Let me know what you guys think down below, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.